Hello everybody, thank you for joining us. Today we're going to do a quick sketch of a face and we're going to show it in light and shadow, as in the light is coming from below and going upward. So it's a very popular tool that is used in different media, and I've seen it in comic books more often, but no matter which format you're using, whether you're working off the computer, whether you're doing a manual sketch, if you're in illustration, you will come across it, and it's very handy to have some core basics. So let's learn some right here, and we'll enlighten ourselves as to how this very important light placement can work. So I'm just putting in a generic face, and if you have that going, you could even make this an X shape, but I've just chosen that flatter chin. And I'm going to, it's very important of course to give him some features already. So if there's some cheekbones, it's better because they will be highlighted. Alright, so we put in a pair of eyebrows, we put in a pair of eyes, so now everything doesn't have to be perfect because it is essential practice. And I do need to give him all these core things if we are to work with this thing. So I'm putting in some like nose lines going downward, and I'm giving him a generic mouth to work with. Okay, so now that we have that done, now we have, as I mentioned, the light source coming from below, and they're all over here. So it's not, we will say that, I mean, it's dark, but I do not know if we will make that pitch black or we'll make it with a certain light source of its own. But it's good to work just the basics, and that is, if you can just use the light source from one angle and not use the other one at all, that would be better as a primary practice. So if you've noticed, I'm putting in some highlight points here, like, you know, some foreheads might have a little bulge here above the eyes, there might be a little bulge right there, even here, but not necessary. And we will start to put in some tones. Oh, the chin, of course. So the reason I'm putting these in is because there are areas of highlight that you could work with. For instance, right here. So the light, we turn the light on. So click, and let's put the nostrils in first. So everything above this is pretty much going to be cross-hatched. You'll have to put in some kind of tone depending on how intense you wish to make this. Now I've stopped short here because I mentioned that there might be a little highlight here, like right above, or the entire brow area, or up to here even, but let's decide that as we go. This is definitely raised, so just minimal shadows around the eyes there, and then I put those in here, but let's do that and then have some tones going in right under the eyes. So this is the light factor that, sorry, this is the light placement that brings about the creepy factor in movies. It's used very often where an ominous character comes out of the shadows, and there's this certain light falling onto his face. We have all seen it, and we are still entertained by it. So I'm putting in some tones going into the cheek there. Now, not necessary, they might not be right up there, but up to a certain part, depending on how round or how flat the cheek is. Putting in tones there. So right atop the chin and right under the lip, I put in some tone there. So, and then above the lip, light going inward and toward the nose. And then above the nose, we should put in something, because not all of the nose, not all of its round features are directly in the light. So we did that, we rounded that off and met the cheek here. We round that off and meet the cheek here. Alright, so we leave that area lighted. And then above the brow, so let's say that he does not have very heavy brows and just like optimal. In that case, you'll just go like that, right above the top of the eye, and then you will just keep going, cross-hatching. Because there's no area beyond this that is, except if it's a very alien like heavy brow, there's no area that is really stopping the light or the dark setting in. So now the only reason why I left that open still is because some folks might have a bulge. So I've used a generic fairly straight forehead. Now there might be people who might have striations in the forehead, so forehead lines, which are very, very apparent. I don't think like it works too often, but it could be. So right now I'm just illuminating this area and coming back, leaving just that much, just for a bit of character. And then of course how you play around with this is up to you, but I'm putting in some tones right under there so that you could do this with a pen, or you could use a pencil like I have. So I mean, it looks creepy, but you know, it's actually we'll just put in a pair of eyes, just your standard eyes. Still looks creepy, of course. The eyebrows are like right along there. And depending on what you do with them, you could make him like less creepy. For example, now he's not, if you do that, give him a little solemn pair of eyes just by bringing the lids down, it's not as creepy. So all those little things that you could play with, you could impact certain areas more, which are, for instance here, you could impact those areas a little more, just so they stand out, like that, right there, or darker over here. And of course, if it would not be fair to do without these, so it's pretty much the same exercise. If we had a head of hair, small, but okay. So I'm putting the ears in a tone all together. And depending on if there's any portion of the hair that actually sticks out, you leave that. If it's like sticking out like this way, that usually doesn't happen. It might happen in anime, but even there the hair is usually sticking upward. So the hair will mostly be also encased in shadows, and with some hints and highlights that will just like make it glint. I mean, if he has gel on or oil on, or if it has like some very fine and very evident lines in the middle. So there we have it. Do explore this. It's a very useful tool to work with. In the interim, do let us have your comments, and please do subscribe. Always keep in touch. Love having you around. Have yourself a wonderful day.